From Archie Goodwin strangling Markieff Morris to Bobby Portis giving Nikola Mirotic a concussion, these are some of the times NBA stars completely lost it at their teammates. For starters, there's the time when Archie Goodwin literally strangled Markieff Morris. Yep, it's hard to believe something like this could actually happen during a game. But back in 2016, the two were playing against the Golden State Warriors, and let's just say, the match wasn't going in their favor. Morris, the Phoenix Suns forward, got into an argument with Goodwin, and things really escalated when he thought it'd be a good idea to shove Archie during a timeout. But of course, Goodwin didn't take that lying down. He got a bit too handsy as well and ended up choking Morris. That's not exactly what I'd call a team-building exercise. But what do I know, right? In any case, both players ended up returning to the game afterward, and they even downplayed the whole incident later on. Morris said it was nothing, and it was just part of being a leader and a big brother. I guess that's one way to put it. But that's far from the only instance of teammates getting violent with one another in the NBA, because there's also the time LeBron James yelled at Mario Chalmers. This happened when the two were playing for the Miami Heat. The two got involved in a bust-up on the bench during a game against the Indiana Pacers. James was apparently not having any of his teammates' attitude, and what started off as a bunch of teammates talking it out on the bench turned into a violent showdown of words between the two. James was seen standing up from the benches and rushing toward Mario, and had it not been for the person that was holding him back, I think this really could have gone south really quickly. It's surprising to see the two lose their cool, but then again, they kind of had that relationship since forever. I mean, who can forget the time when Mario straight up called LeBron the B word? Let's just hope Chalmers doesn't run into James anytime soon, because I have a feeling their next encounter isn't going to just end with them hurling words at each other. And the same can also be said for these next two teammates. Yup, I'm talking about Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. During a match with the Sacramento Kings, these two teammates got into a tense situation. While they didn't exactly get physical, there was definitely a heated exchange. An online video from the game shows the two going at each other as their teammates and the other people around them try to calm them down. But it seemed like they managed to patch things up quickly. In fact, the two downplayed the whole thing later on, even though it definitely felt quite serious at first, especially because it looked like it was all stemming from Green being angry at Durant wanting to leave the team. Though the two seem like they've healed their relationship since then, or at least that's what they want you to think. Because, let's face it, that's not even the only time Draymond Green has run into issues with his teammates, because he also once punched Jordan Poole during practice. Yeah, this guy's got some serious anger management issues. If he's not yelling at someone during a game, he's outright throwing fists at them during practice. The video of Green punching Poole became instantly viral online, especially because it leaked. Green can be seen stepping up to Jordan, who reacted by shoving Draymond away from himself. And as a reaction, Green flung his hand at the guy, punching him straight in the face and knocking him down. At this point, several people at the practice intervened and broke the scuffle between the two. The Golden State Warriors stated that they were taking every legal course of action to discover just who it was that recorded and uploaded the video. Though I'd imagine they should also put some effort into disciplining Green, right? Well, he ended up giving an apology to his teammates and to Poole especially. Then later, the Warriors coach Steve Kerr addressed the media regarding the incident too. And guess what? Durant also talked about it, which makes sense considering his history with Draymond. Though he made it clear that this was a completely different situation, he added that someone got punched in the face here. It's not like his fight with Green where it was just words being flung. This truly was something that Kevin hadn't seen before. But it's gotta be said, if you're a fan of the NBA, stuff like this almost feels par for the course. I mean, just recently, Rudy Gobert punched his teammate Kyle Anderson. The Minnesota Timberwolves center even got some strict disciplining for this, because he was straight up sent home during the game for this little maneuver. The punch happened during a timeout in the second quarter of their vital 113-108 win over the New Orleans Pelicans. And well, it's fair to say things got a little out of hand during the break. Luckily, Anderson wasn't too hurt by the punch and was able to continue playing, allowing the Wolves to clinch the number 8 seed in the play-in tournament. The team's president, Tim Connolly, later released a statement about their decision. He added that Rudy was sent home because his behavior was unacceptable. Tim also made it clear that the matter isn't over just yet. In fact, they're going to be handling the situation internally. But of course, they're trying to move past it as well, especially now that Gobert has seemingly apologized in a group chat. Conley said that they're going to have an internal discussion about it, but ultimately, he's hopeful that they'll be able to move on since they're grown men. You'd imagine grown men would be able to keep their punches to themselves, but maybe that's a bit too much to ask. The punch may be hinting at the duo's fractured relationship, since earlier, Gobert had mentioned how he feels that Kyle is a bit too aggressive in the way that he talks. While he appreciates the guy's competitiveness, he's clearly not a fan of the way his teammate speaks. Still, that's no reason to punch someone. Someone should really tell that to Lance Stephenson. He got into a fight with his teammate Evan Turner. This was during the final practice session of the regular season at the Indiana Pacers. Now, there's no denying that Lance has got some real talent, but it's clear that he's also extremely hot-headed, to the point where the two got in a fist fight with each other and had to be separated because they were starting to dish out some real damage. But guess what? Even after eating that many punches, Evan passed on the blame to Andrew Bynum, who he thinks single-handedly is responsible for instigating the fight between the two. The guy kept hyping up the two as they became more and more aggressive, and eventually, this led to a big showdown with both Lance and Evan staring at each other's faces, ready to start something. Though, according to Evan, the fight really wasn't as big as it was initially reported. In fact, no actual punches were supposedly thrown, according to him anyway. But of course, that's not how the event was reported initially. Instead, Lance was trying to big boy him with an elbow and pushing his finger up on Evan's face. Evan shoved the guy back, and the two began grabbing each other's necks. Eventually, though, David West came rushing in, preventing things from getting really serious. Though Evan did end up getting scratched because Lance had some pretty long nails. But there's another instance of an NBA star dealing some serious damage to his own teammate. Yep, I'm talking about the fight between Bobby Portis and Nikola Mirotic. So, these two were battling it out for the starting power forward position during the preseason. And let me tell you, things were heating up real fast between them. But then, on October 17th, things reached a boiling point. Mirotic charged at Portis not once, but twice. And just when you think you've heard it all, he did it once again. This time bringing his fists into the equation. Portis swung and hit Mirotic, and he must have gotten a really good hit in, because his punch caused Nikola to suffer some serious facial fractures and a concussion. Ouch! Mirotic was out for the first 23 games of the season, and Portis got suspended for 8 games. But wait, there's more. Mirotic ended up getting traded to the New Orleans Pelicans less than a year later, which is probably a good call, considering it'd be kind of hard to play with someone who literally gave you a concussion. But of course, Portis made sure to let everyone know just how sorry he was. He apologized publicly and privately, but it seems like their relationship off the court never really recovered. I mean, it's one thing to have a verbal spat with someone, but punching them to the point of facial fractures is a bit too far. So from Bobby Portis giving Nikola Mirotic a concussion to Archie Goodwin strangling Markieff Morris, those were some of the times NBA stars completely lost it at their teammates.